Hey, true believers. Chris Mack coming at you with Generation Next number 3. And just like I promised, I remembered. So here's issue 3. Let me grab issue 2. Ooh, gotta move this over further. Don't have a lot of room here. So see how Page's coat there connects there. And then Vincetti's smoke lines up there. So that's what I was talking about, how the covers begin to interconnect. So I really love that on Bacalo's part. Just really cool. I said that I would show that, and I remembered. Haha. So I get a free coffee. Who's going to bring it to me? I'm just kidding. Anyway, so the series, as we remember from the last issue where it said, the last one was supposed to be kind of the upbeat issue. Things only kind of started to go downhill. That is the case. This is a very sad book, but a good read nonetheless. And I've always loved, when I opened the book, I always enjoyed this panel because it's just Skin and Chamber talking, but what I like is how the art team does the attention in the foreground of the bricks, the pipes, and how they kind of just graffiti Generation Next here. Speaking of which, I miss when they would do stuff like this where they would actually work the creative credits into the book itself. And speaking of, this book came out May of 1995. So, it's been a while. And this one's called It Only Hurts When I Sing. Lobdell and Bacalo. Lobdell doing the story, Bacalo doing the art. Buckingham inks. Bucaletto and Electric Crayon doing the colors. Letters is Starkings and Starkings and Comicraft. See what I meant by I need coffee. And then editor was Bob Harris at the time. And then once you pull out into a wide shot, you can kind of see where Skin and Chamber are in the grand scheme of the whole thing. And they're talking about how they feel like this is just a whole suicide mission, and you can kind of see what they're going up against in terms of fighting these mutants at this processing core. And just look at the work that Bacalo did here. I really enjoy that. This shows the genetic tampering that Dark Beast and Sugarman both did, because you know that at one point these guys did not look like that. You know what I mean? And even though it's a very drab, depressing panel, it's beautiful nonetheless in the terms of like the aesthetic and the artwork and the attention to detail. Just like in the old heavy metal movie, a lot of that was very drab and depressing, but the artwork was beautiful. Now, this guy, this ugly looking mutant, this is back in the day when I miss when they'd actually make the villains, kind of like the old westerns where the bad guy always wore the black hat and the good guy always wore the white hat. And then as they kind of got in the more modern, the bad guys always look kind of ugly and misproportioned. I like that here. You see this girl's like, "Oh, Papa, I couldn't." He's talking to his child. He's like, "Please." And you just see this guy. He's like, "Violation! Violation! Enter flat scan. Fraternization is strictly forbidden." And he opens his eye and yeah, it's hard to get through. Because what happens is that was her father offering her food from 3 days ago. You can just see Chamber just doesn't know what to do. He's ready to just lose his crap at this mutant. And this girl, this human, tries to fight back. You filthy gene freak. And yeah, something happens that really lights Chamber up. Also lights Mondo up. Because remember how we've started to see Mondo kind of move amongst the walls here? Well, this guy, he thinks that he's the bee's knees for something that he did. He's like, "I think I can get up." Mondo comes out of the wall. "You can't." "Can't?" "Nope." So, oof. Just the way that people have gone in this world. Ugh. And then again, this is Page and Vincetti posing as Quietus. And I love the artwork. Just look at that. I love the smoke of Vincent in the background. And just the attention to detail. Yeah, Quietus was an ugly, ugly dude, but great artwork nonetheless. I like the way the hair, it's supposed to be like hair, but just the way it looks all crazy and whatnot. The big elongated nose, The big hairy knuckles, the suit, just great work overall. Great composition, for sure. And what happens is his secretary's trying to announce the arriving of Sugarman. So, again, you find out why these two are now at Quietus' office instead of his home. And here's where we get our first appearance in the comics of Sugarman. As we remember from last issue, it was just a silhouette. And man, I just forgot how foul and ugly he is. I mean, they really caught the ugliness in the comic, or in the figure that we went over a while back. But man, the drawing of it is so ugh. And the Quietus' poor secretary is like, "Sir, you must be announced." Announcement. Fine. Name's Sugarman. Your boss. Quietus' boss. In fact, I'm in charge of this operation. Oh, you're that Sugarman. Sorry, I can't see a thing with these old glasses, Mr. Sugarman, sir. You know what Apocalypse says about mutants who've outlived their usefulness. May I be excused? Why not? Thank you, sir. I'm too kind. So at this point, Paige and Vincent kind of let the guys go down. They thought they were safe. Well, Sugarman breaks in and he's like, "Where are you?" And so they have to kind of explain why they smell different. And you can see how they're trying to hide in the shower from Sugarman. And they're trying to play off, "Well, why do you think?" He's like, what's it called? Because of what Know-It-All did in issue 1 where she was scanning their files. Well, Sugarman's bringing it to Quietus saying we might have a break-in. And so she's trying to play it off to fill his ego and kind of get him off the scent of them. And as you can see here, this hopeless situation where she's sitting on Vincetti and he's ready to just pop a cap in the Sugarman. So anyway, he's like, "Come down to the floor. Let's investigate." So I'm kind of leaving it at that. I know I'm kind of broad stroking it, but I don't want to ruin a lot. But this one panel is funny. I'm going to ruin it. So if you don't want it to be spoiled here, pause, go get the book, and come back. We'll wait. And you're back. Okay, so what I like is here, remember from issue 1 how Chamber and Husk and everybody just seemed to be very cold and calculating the way they almost killed each other during training? Check this out. Husk gets off of Vincetti and she goes, "Vincetti, you know how Jono is the only man I've ever loved?" "Yes. The whole reason you've been a bobtailed redhead for the past year, Paige." "Why?" So here I like how Abdel points out why Paige has different hair compared to the 616 universe. And she goes, "Because I'm scared. And Chamber ain't here. Not real comfortable with," and just in Quietus head form, just but I can understand being scared and you need some comforting. It makes sense, but just, yeah. And these guys, they're at the front entrance to the core. Now, I don't want to give away what Skin's thinking, because that's who's doing the narration of this book. I don't want to give that away. But these two guys, I'm serious, Monty. There are times I look at those people in there, and I just want to cry. Especially the kids. It's like this pain and suffering is the only world they ever knew. Don't you ever feel bad for them? Now look at this. No. So this world has really changed people. I mean, these are supposed to be kind of like humans, keeping humans in pens, but they don't care because they have the good life, because they got on the good side somehow. Now, what's their names? Colossus and Kitty show up on the scene. I don't want to give away that page either, but there's one thing I kind of want to read where, as Skin is thinking, he goes, "There was a time when any one of us kids would have followed a Colossus right down Apocalypse's throat and back. Now, suddenly his whole reason for being is about saving his sister. Understandable. But I'm just afraid when push comes to shove, it ain't going to be a surprise who does the pushing and who gets shoved. So you can kind of see how this book's going to hell in a handbasket real quick. Now, if I'm wrong about this panel, guys, let me know. Here's Ileana down below in the core working. She goes, May, tell me again about the sunlight. Not much to say. Warm light, gone to us forever. But hush now, Ileana. Work. Work will set us free. If I'm not mistaken, I think this is supposed to be a cameo of May Parker. So if I'm wrong, let me know. And this little girl here, something happens, and I'm just so glad that Mondo was there to catch her, because, again, this is such a desolate and drab world. And that's what I meant, where this comic book just continues to decline in terms of morale. And you feel, on top of Bachlo's art making this place look disgusting, you feel it in the griminess of what humans are doing to humans, what mutants are doing to these humans. And it's just very, very depressing. Now, Know-It-All makes another appearance here, and she's talking about how Mondo has located Ileana. And right here, this is where you can kind of tell things are going to start going bad real quick. She goes, on the other side of the rainbow, Skin and Chamber and Husk and Vincetti are, I guess, cornered would be the best word. Recommendation. The kids could really use a hand down there, teacher and teacheress. So Kitty's saying, well, should we? No. The students understood the risk when they took this assignment. Our only priority is securing my sister for the fate of the world. Nothing else is important. And just look at his face, the way he just cold, calculating. And Kitty notices it, but she understands what's at stake as well. And so, yeah, there's a scene where someone's supposed to be executed. Who's the prisoner? Why are they being executed? Check out Generation Next, number 3. Again, another great read by this team. I really enjoyed this series, but I forget every time how I sit down and read this, how it just starts out kind of neat, and you're like, okay, these are interesting characters, and then you get into the core here and think how things just boom, 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 because you feel for these people that are slaves, and it just hurts. And then the people that are guarding them, how they're sociopathic, how they just have no emotion about it except for number 1, which is what Apocalypse's dogma has done to these people of Earth 295. So, yeah. I'm going to go ahead and stop there, because it always gets under my skin. You know what I mean? So if you guys have enjoyed this comic book, please first and foremost check with your local comic shop and see if they have the original Age of Apocalypse run. And if you've enjoyed this review, we really would appreciate if you take a moment to hit like, share, and subscribe. Helps the club channel more than you can possibly know. And if you wouldn't mind hitting that fancy little Mondo bell next to subscribe, that way as we continue to upload content, you guys will get notified. Come to the channel, and we'd love to have a dialogue with everyone, down in the comments below, or on our social media pages, which I'll make sure to leave the links down in the description below. So with all that said, thank you all so much for stopping by. I hope you all continue to have an absolutely amazing day reading, and happy hunting, true believers.